Hey YouTube, today we're going to check out 3 Bluetooth speakers from Anker. These came out in 2017. This one here is the lowest one in their lineup. This is the SoundCore 2, model number A3105. Stepping up in the line, this is called the SoundCore Boost. This is model number A3145. And then sitting at the top of the line, their flagship, is the SoundCore Pro model A3142. So we're going to take a look at some of the features and look around 360 degrees, do a little sound test, see which ones play louder with different features enabled. For example, this Boost has a bass up button. So let's just go through the basic specs. First of all, the SoundCore 2 retails for $39.99. It weighs 14.6 ounces, although on Anker's website it says 12.6. But in the manual it says 14.6, and I weighed it myself. It weighed 14.7. So 14.6 seems to be the correct weight for this SoundCore 2. Its size is 6.6 by 1.9 by 2.2 inches. So it's noticeably slimmer in all dimensions than the Boost or the Pro. Battery size in here, not posted. The other two I could find specs for in the manual, but the SoundCore 2 not posted. Playtime is advertised at 24 hours playback time on one charge, which takes 3 hours for a recharge. The audio output, we have 2 1.5-inch drivers in here, receiving 6 watts each for a total of 12 watts. It's a 12-watt speaker. Like I said, it takes 3 hours to charge, plays for 24 hours. Waterproof rating IPX5, which means it can be sprayed by jets in any direction. So some forceful splashing, not just light splashing. And the frequency response is advertised at from 70 hertz to 20,000 hertz. Stepping up to the SoundCore Boost, this is $79.99, and the weight is 20.6 ounces. It's 8 inches by 2.8 inches by 2.7 inches. If you really figure out cubic volume, believe it or not, this is over twice the cubic volume of the SoundCore 2, even though it doesn't feel twice as bulky, but it is if you do the measurements. Battery size on the Boost is actually posted. It is 5,200 milliamp hours, and it'll play for 12 hours of playtime. That's only half of what the SoundCore 2 will. Drivers in here are a 1/4 inch bigger. We had the 2 1.5-inch drivers over here. We have 2 1.75 inch drivers over here, and almost doubling the power. So each of the 1.75 inch drivers gets 10 watts each for a total of 20 watts on the Boost. This was 2 1.5 inch drivers getting 6 watts each for 12 watts over here on the SoundCore 2. Charging time takes almost twice as long to charge as the 2. 4 to 6 hours is the advertised charging time to get the 12 hours of playback on the Boost. IPX5 for waterproofing, which is the same as the SoundCore 2. And the frequency response is advertised exactly the same as the SoundCore 2, 70 hertz to 20,000 hertz. So I think that's kind of interesting because the Boost has a bass up button. It's supposed to go lower. I mean, I would think based on their marketing, but the frequency response still for both of these says it only goes down to 70 hertz. You'll see that change as we step up into the SoundCore Pro. So here we are with the SoundCore Pro. This is the top of the line. Retails for $99.99. Weighs 26.8 ounces. Its measurements are 8 inches by 2.8 inches by 2.7 inches. Those are the exact same dimensions as the SoundCore Boost. The battery size is advertised at 8,000 milliamp hours. There were 52 milliamp hours over here on the Boost, and nothing advertised for the SoundCore 2. So on the Pro, again, 8,000 milliamp hour battery, offering 18 hours of playback time, which is right in between these two. So you get 24 hours play time on the SoundCore 2, and on the Boost, you only get 12 hours. On the Pro here, sitting right in between at 18 hours of playback time. You have two 1.75-inch drivers, just like you do over here on the Boost, but with the Pro, they add two tweeters as well, little 1-inch tweeters. They advertise the total power output to be 25 watts. So we go from 12 watts total down here on the SoundCore 2 to 20 watts on the SoundCore Boost, up to 25 total on the SoundCore Pro. They don't advertise which drivers get which wattages of power, but since there are two 1.7-inch drivers in here, just like there are on the Boost, they get 10 watts each. I guess if I had to guess, I'm going to say that we got the same situation going on here with the Pro, where probably the two 1.7-inch drivers get 10 watts each, and then the 5 watts left over go to the two tweeters, so maybe 2.5 watts per tweeter on the SoundCore Pro. That much is an assumption. The manual just says 12.5 watts times 2 equals 25 watts of power. So how that's distributed between the 4 speakers is anybody's guess. I just gave you mine. And the charging time, 4 to 6 hours on this. That's the same advertised charge time that they give you for the Boost, but the playback much longer than the Boost. On the Pro, you get 18 hours of playback time. Boost only gets 12 hours of playback time. One difference between the two speakers that I gave the overview of first, the 2 and the Boost, versus the Pro, is the Pro is only IPX4 water certified. So this will support or be able to withstand some splashing of water, but not direct jets spraying on it, is how they test the IPX5 on these two. So IPX5 on the SoundCore 2 and on the SoundCore Boost, more waterproof or more water resistant than here on the Pro. The Pro is IPX4, only withstanding light splashing, not the direct jets. Frequency response is advertised to go 5 hertz lower here on the Pro, 65 hertz. We're going 65 hertz versus 70 on the low end between these two models. And then of course top end on all of them is 20,000 hertz, so 20 kilohertz. I find that interesting that this goes 5 hertz lower, at least advertised specs, since it doesn't have any bigger drivers in it than the Boost does. The Boost and the Pro have 1.75 inch drivers. Yet they're advertising the Pro to go 5 hertz lower. So that must have to do with, I mean, it can't be physical size, it's the same physical dimensions. So it must just be the enclosure, how much air, I don't know. Something with internal design gets this thing 5 hertz lower, at least in advertised specs. So kind of comparing all three and all the specs that we've gone through. So we've got right here is the SoundCore 2, this is the Boost, this is the Pro. So when it comes to price, the SoundCore Boost is twice the price of the SoundCore 2, and the SoundCore Pro is 2.5 times the price of the SoundCore 2 and 25% more expensive than the Boost. When it comes to weight, the Boost is 41% heavier. This is 41% heavier than the SoundCore 2, and the SoundCore Pro is 84% heavier than the SoundCore 2, almost twice as heavy, and this is 30% heavier than the Boost is. When it comes to size, like I said, cubic volume on the Boost and the Pro is actually twice that of on the SoundCore 2. Both the Boost and the Pro, the same physical dimensions, and the SoundCore 2 much smaller. Battery size, like I said, not posted on the SoundCore 2, 5200 milliamp hour on the Boost and 8000 on the SoundCore Pro. So got over 50% bigger battery on the Pro than on the Boost, 54% to be exact. Moving on to the playtime, Playtime champion, definitely the SoundCore 2, 24 hours of advertised playback. You only get half of the playtime on the SoundCore Boost, 12 hours, and then sitting right in between at 18 hours is the SoundCore Pro. Audio output, 12 watts on the SoundCore 2, 20 watts on the SoundCore Boost, and then 25 watts on the SoundCore Pro. Interestingly, the Boost has this bass up button. It's like an Anker proprietary feature, bass up, all one word, and you can toggle that on and off. But on the Pro, it advertises that it has bass up technology, but there's no button, leading us to believe that this just always has bass up enabled. Moving on to charge time, only 3-hour charge time on the SoundCore 2 for 24 hours playback. That's awesome. 4 to 6 hours it takes to charge both of these larger ones. Waterproofing, like I said, IPX5 on both of the SoundCore 2 and the SoundCore Boost. SoundCore Pro only IPX4. And then frequency response, 70 to 20,000 hertz for both the SoundCore 2 and the SoundCore Boost, but the SoundCore Pro advertises going lower to 65 hertz. So that's an overview and rundown of the technical specifications that you can get from the manual. Now let's take a look at physical layout of the 3 speakers. So all 3 speakers have a power toggle on off, a volume down, a volume up, and a play pause. The SoundCore 2 and the SoundCore Pro have dedicated Bluetooth buttons for pairing. The SoundCore Boost, you have to hold the power button to do pairing. Both the SoundCore Boost and the SoundCore Pro have NFC sections here for easy Bluetooth pairing. The SoundCore 2 does not have NFC for easy pairing. All of the speakers have Bluetooth 4.2 with 66 feet of range. They all also have microphones in them and can be used as speakerphones. As far as the ports, if you open up this little door on the SoundCore 2, you have an aux in and you have a micro USB for charging. On the SoundCore Boost, you got a side door and you have those same 2 ports, the aux in and the micro USB in for charging, but you also get a 1 amp charging port to charge a phone. Pretty slow though, only 1 amp charging out of here. Even though it shows the little IQ logo, that's an Anker technology. I think they call it Power IQ, supposedly able to charge your devices as fast as they can handle, but yeah, right, out of a 1 amp port, doubtful. Actually possible. So on the Pro though, behind its door, you get looks like the same 3 ports as the Boost, but difference here is that even though it's not labeled, in the manual, the USB out for charging your phone is 2.4 amps, so that's awesome. That's going to give you a faster charge, although it's not Qualcomm Quick Charge 3.0 certified or any Qualcomm Quick Charge certified. It's just 2.4 amp output for charging your phone. It's going to charge it faster than the 1 amp out on this. And then on the SoundCore 2, there's no out. But of course, you've got your micro USB in for charging and your aux in for playback. I think that Anker can do a better job overall on their doors for their ports. You really have to push this into place. This one on the Pro, I mean, it's not great, but it actually could be worse. Let me show you what I mean by could be worse. So on the Boost, this one I think is the best implementation. The Boost opens and closes reliably like all the time. It's awesome. But on the SoundCore 2, this battery door, or excuse me, this input port cover is a mess to deal with. So I've owned this thing for a while and I can't get it to close reliably. Sometimes you just get lucky and it closes and it's fine, which I'm sure I can demonstrate. So let's see, if I try to put that side in first and then push the back in, no. If I try to put the back side in first and then the front, no. I don't know, just kind of mash it down sometime, no. It's finicky as heck. Oh, there it goes, perfect. And it feels like it was meant to be. It's flush, it's nice. But I have no idea how I got it to do that. Like, let's see, we'll try it again. It's frustrating. Sometimes you just get lucky and it closes. And many more times you try to close it and it won't close. So, I don't know. I think that's kind of frustrating, especially with the SoundCore 2 supposed to be IPX5 certified. Obviously, it's only going to be waterproof or water resistant if you can close the door to the input ports. So, there you have it. That's the overview of physical dimensions, all the technical specifications, button layouts, and everything of all three speakers. In another video, I will do some sound tests. Be sure to check those out. So you can make your decision. I don't think that there's a best here. I mean, if playback time is what you're concerned with, definitely the SoundCore 2. I mean, it's cheap, it's got a long playback time, the shortest recharge time, is good at waterproof rating as anything else. I mean, this thing is awesome. I guess if you want to have ports to charge your phone out of, it's good to have these two, or if you need the extra bass, it's good to have these guys. But you know, you're going to deal with bigger physical dimensions, heavier, slower to charge, and lower playback time, especially with the boost. I mean, 12 hours of playback time is pretty weak compared to 24 on the SoundCore 2, and then 18 right in between on the SoundCore Pro. So, you know, seems like SoundCore Pro would be a nice balance between the two, where you still get good playback time out of it, you get the additional bass, you know, it goes a little bit lower, 65 hertz supposedly, if you can deal with the lower waterproof specification of IPX4. But really, you know, it also depends on how good they sound and how loud they go, and for that you'll have to check out my other video on doing a sound test on the three. So hopefully that gives you a comprehensive overview of all the differences between the three Bluetooth speakers in Anker's line that was released in 2017. If you like it, thumbs up and subscribe. Thanks.